As a historical epic, then, it's a rather safe one in terms of story, where all the substance is intimately carried by the characters. Welcome back to my channel, movie fans. Today we are discussing The Womanking, a historical epic hitting UK theaters on October the 4th, which follows the story of the Agojie, an all-female unit of warriors who protected the African Kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s with skills and a fierceness unlike anything the world had ever seen, with particular focus on General Nanisca as she trains the next generation of warriors and readies them for a battle against an enemy determined to destroy their way of life. And it should be said that I am a sucker for a historical epic. It is one of my favorite subgenres. A group of warriors fighting against a group of oppressors who are determined to invade their land and destroy everything they hold dear. Count me in. And by all means, this is one kick-ass, rousing cinema experience. But it is very much a film of two halves, which surprised me. In the first half, we essentially have a coming-of-age story focused on Thuzombedu's character, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, as she is discarded by her family, thrown into this group of elite warriors, and we begin to see the inner workings of this elite sisterhood within a larger society. I love me a good old-fashioned training montage, and this first half certainly has a lot of it, as this young girl begins to find herself amidst this sisterhood. She begins to see a place where she can belong. Arduous, rigorous training, and a lot of back and forth that really fleshes out the characters and the interpersonal relationships and the inner workings of the kingdoms. We see the conflicts within the society and even at large. We see how the society works, we see how the ranks work in the sisterhood, and we get to understand how each of them got to be in this position, in the position they find themselves through this film in the first place, which is interesting, but nothing was really blowing my mind. Everything was perfectly well made. Performances, costumes, cinematography, and score, exceptional really. The film opens with an action scene that is awesome and pumps your blood, and we'll get to more action in a bit, but the story just wasn't grabbing me through this slow burn first half. But once this movie hits the midpoint, that's when everything kicked into gear for me. And one of the reasons I didn't really check out of the film was in great part due to the commanding presence of Viola Davis. She is an absolute on-screen titan of pure strength and power, kicking all the ass, be it on the battlefield with vicious brutality or even in more intimate scenes where she's just talking with one of her confidants or even one of the young recruits, letting them into this sisterhood, to this elite group of warriors and how they work as she constantly battles following her heart and following her duty. We really dive deep into the inner workings of this kingdom and what these characters have struggled with, be it with invaders or within their own homes, through the character of Nanisca. But as great as Viola Davis is, as great as Thuzombedu is, Lashana Lynch steals this entire show. I shed tears because of Lashana Lynch. Her performance is just so much. She is funny, fierce, charming, strong. It's an unbelievably fantastic performance where every scene with her on screen is memorable. And you want to talk about action in this film, she has by far the coolest moves on the battlefield and creates this really tender connection with the young girl who begins her journey into belonging to the sisterhood. I just thought she did an incredible job with what is easily the best developed character through this entire film. There are also some other characters that I enjoyed, like John Boyega playing the king, and even a Portuguese character played by Hero Fines in this film. And look, if you don't know, I'm Portuguese, And despite them once again butchering the Portuguese language, particularly because once again they did not hire Portuguese actors, I really like to see some extended lines in my language, and it's actually really funny because as bad as Hero Finds Us Portuguese was, when he kind of spoke English, pretending to be someone whose English wasn't their first language, it's actually a pretty good fake English that he portrays in this film. So I had a ton of fun, and of course I have no shame in laughing at these guys playing colonizers because Portuguese people were colonizers in the past, so I love to see some comeuppance in the film. Overall, the acting, costumes, and production value in general vastly outshine the script and writing. When it comes to the action, you have these massive set pieces put together that are so exciting to see unfolding, where you see all the rigorous work the actors went through to get in shape, the excellent choreography and stunt work, when you can see it, are beautiful to witness, but you can definitely feel the PG-13 nature of the film, where it's constantly holding back, cutting away from the violence instead of allowing the emotion to drive it. There's such a primal sense of fury when in the battlefield because these characters are so well defined, but when the film cuts away and doesn't allow us to really witness the brutality with which these characters defend their home, their land, and everything they believe in. So ultimately the rating is a detriment to us witness in full the bloody brutality with which these characters fight. As a historical epic then, it's a rather safe one in terms of story, where all the substance is intimately carried by the characters. And director Gina Prince Bythewood certainly has a tender grasp on characterization as well as strong themes of heart versus duty to drive them. And it's thanks to her directing that despite the rating undermining the brutality of the action, we're still able to get some emotion out of it because it is so driven by character. There's so much characterization in the battlefield, in how each of these characters fight and what we see them learn throughout the film, but it's just that the narrative is never as riveting as the characters involved. There are also some story threads that feel completely unnecessary, like a love story subplot that never goes anywhere, feels pointless, as well as a one-in-a-million coincidental connection between two characters that honestly makes their relationship so much more powerful if it's not there whatsoever. And ultimately the dialogue can feel overbearing. At points it's trying to accomplish something that other scenes with absolutely no dialogue, just with emotion and action and the best visual effects in film, which is an actor's face displaying emotion, has already accomplished much better. But before I dive into my final thoughts on The Woman King, I need you to start the conversation about it in the comments below. What do you make of the film, and what are your top 3 historical epics? Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, if you love movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. The Woman King is a roaring epic with massive action in scale, scope, and character intimacy. Viola Davis is a commanding presence that will have you bending the knee, but Lashana Lynch steals the show with true emotional gravitas. I'm giving The Woman King a B. And that's what I make of The Woman King. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and big thanks to my channel members for always supporting the channel. LFF is about to start, so I hope to see you in those videos. And until then, love each other and love the movies.